Hi and welcome back to the channel, Steven, with your weekly figure news fix. For today, we will be taking a look at figures on pre-order between 12th to 17th of February 2024. So we are post Wonder Festival, where a number of the figures we saw in the event has began to go on pre-order. And this week, we have a lot less figures on pre-order compared to previous weeks. This is one of the shortest weeks yet. We don't have third-party resin figures for this week, right? Because over in China, they are still on holiday. Yeah, Lunar New Year technically isn't over yet, but there is one update on a figure related to stolen art, which we'll get to it at the end of today's video. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into Hobby Link Japan first. And for the scale figures I want to cover here, I've already selected them. The first one here will begin with 1x4 scale, only one single figure this week. Mona Kawaii Bunny version. Medaka Kuroiwa is impervious to my charms. I'm not really sure what is that. Is that a manga or light novel? I'm not too sure. So this is by Frieren, only 30,000 yen, which is really cheap for 1x4 scale. But this looks more like something Bear Panda would do at 1x4 scale for 9,000 yen, right? I mean, this is a very simple figure with nothing much going on. Also, speaking of character design alone, not only is this super plain, like just black bunny and nothing else, she reminds me of Lily, I think it was Lily, from Spy Classroom. Yeah, they are really alike. And this is a bit like a slightly more adult version of Lily. Yeah, reminds me of her a lot. But other than that, I mean, if you are the kind who collects a lot of 1x4 scales, then this might be worth considering, given that she is relatively affordable, relatively for 1x4 scale. But still, I don't see this being a good purchase simply because there is nothing special about this bunny figure. The next one over here, okay, this one I covered in Wonder Festival video, and yeah, she has already went on pre-order even before I published the One Fest video. So a quick mention over here, Hatsune Miku Japan Tour 2023 Thunderbolt by Design COCO. As you can see, almost 43,000 yen, which is a lot of money. And I'm not surprised given how complex and how sophisticated this figure looks like. My opinions for my One Fest video remains this is quite painful to look at least to my eyes. Like, there are way too much stuff going on, right? Would be interesting to see like how fragile this figure is. Yeah, there are so much stuff going on, man. Moving on to the next one from Based Toys, a new figure brand. We have 1x7 scale Fuki Komite Alpha Uyu going for 18,000 yen, coming out next year in April. Yeah, April 2025, that's right. This brand, it is a new brand. They have announced literally one single new figure in One Fest, which is this one right here, and it is taking them more than a year and 3 months to get this out. So I have no idea what is going on. Your guess is as good as mine. But for a simple figure and literally one single figure being made over here, yeah, they are taking way too long. So I have no idea what is going on. Is this a spin-off of some other existing figure brands? I have no clue at all. My first time seeing this name. Yeah. Pretty generic JK figure, and I think, is this original character? I have no idea either, you see. Just that reminds me of Suzumiya Haruhi a lot. I think, was it Max Factory? Yeah, Max Factory made a figure of Haruhi 15 years ago, and it looked almost exactly like this one in terms of the pose. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we have Arthur Pencil Gun. What kind of name is that? And not only is a funny play on the name Arthur Pendragon, but still, okay, this is a 1x7 scale from Shangri-La Frontier coming out in August 2024 by Our Treasure. Our Treasure, they normally do 1x8 scale swimsuit figures. This is possibly the first time I'm seeing them doing something else rather than cheap swimsuit figures, but they are using the same base. Yeah, this is exactly the base they're using for their swimsuit figures and 1x8. 22,500 yen is somewhat okay for what you're getting, and this is also possibly the very first scale figure from Shangri-La Frontier, which is odd. I would at least expect pop-up rates, right? But there were nothing in Wonder Festival from Shangri-La Frontier, and this anime is so underrated that I have been telling anyone who asks me for anime recommendations to go and watch it. It is seriously good, right? Yeah, it is being overshadowed by the likes of Solo Leveling, for example, but it is seriously good. Since episode 1, I barely see any animation quality drop. Yeah, very consistent. Specifically for this figure though, how do I put it? I don't like the face. Like, from certain angles, from the front angle over here, yeah, she looks fine. Maybe this is just viewing angle issues. But when you turn the figure around a bit, yeah, this angle, she starts looking weird, right? Yeah, you just rotate the figure ever so slightly, she looks a bit weird, but this must be just a problem with converting 2D art into a 3D object. But pricing wise, this is reasonable. Moving on to the next one, we have a 1x6 scale Shokuho Misaki Tiger Bikini version by Alter from a certain magical index. Oh, this is from Index, not Real Gun. Anyways, by Alter, under 20,000 yen, coming out in November. I think Alter, the people working at Alter, they are really a man of culture because they appear to prefer Shokuho Misaki over the main characters Misaka Mikoto or, you know, her sister Kuroko. This is their second Shokuho figure, I think. They made one in a swimsuit. This is their second figure, and they did Shokuho again, not other characters. I do like her quite a bit. Under 20k for an Alter figure, at 1x6 scale, yeah, grab it. If you are a fan of Index or Real Gun series, grab it, right? This is a good buy. Moving on to the next one, we have a life-sized, so-called life-sized, but they are this tiny, you know, yeah. Mushroom Girls series number 5 Reishi Mushroom figure by Reverse Studio, 17,700 yen, coming out next year in January. Okay, my speculation over here is that Reverse Studio is possibly a branch of Rebos, right? All this while, the previous 4 figures of Mushroom Girls figures, if I'm not mistaken, they were made by Rebos. And now suddenly we have Reverse Studio taking things over, yeah. Either they are connected or they are a branch of Rebos. You have to love their paintwork. See, this paintwork over here. Oh, and I noticed that Chinese figure brands, they really give you extra product pictures that showcase the figure at a very close-up distance. Like all these pictures I'm scrolling through right here, which I really do appreciate. I wish that Japanese companies would do the same. See, so many close-up pictures. Oh wow, the paintwork on the mushroom, it looks pretty realistic, isn't it? I don't collect stuff like this, but man, this is really nice craftsmanship right here. Moving on to the next one, Kotobukiya 1x7 scale SNK, the King of Fighters 2001 Angel Bishoujo statue. Only 16,000 yen after a small discount at 1x7 scale, yeah. Coming out in October, and this figure is smoking, man. I mean, the sculpting, the waist, the hips, everything, oh boy. I don't collect these Street Fighter, KOF, SNK kind of figures, but wow, this one would be near the top of my list if I were to buy one. Outstanding body proportions and anatomy on this one. Okay, this time around Kotobukiya is giving us a lot of close-up detail pics. Yeah, overall this isn't a very detailed figure, but that doesn't matter. Like, oh, that waist over there. Whew. Look at emphasis. Look at the emphasis on all the important parts. The face is no longer as important in comparison. Yes, pick one up. Buy it, right? This is a really good buy. And of course, if you went to Kotobukiya's online website to get the exclusive stuff, you're going to get an extra face split with a different face expression. I can already tell. They do it all the time, which I'm not a fan of. Oh, come on. This has been jumping up in every tab I open. The next one, this is possibly the biggest disappointment of the week for me personally. Like, 1x8 scale, man. The case files of Lord Elmeloy 2, I thought it was FGO, but anyways, she appeared in both. We have Olga Mary Annis Myofear by Bellfine, 18,000 yen, June release. Why 1/8 scale Belfine? Why? It is not very often I consider figures made by Belfine. This would be one of those few exceptions I'm willing to buy, right? Because she looks fine. I'm hoping I can get her for a bit cheaper because I'm a cheapskate. Yeah, 15,000 yen maybe, but the price isn't the main issue over here. Yeah, for 1/8, 18k is slightly on the expensive side. At this price, if it was 1/7, I wouldn't have any complaints at all. But why 1/8? Why? Belfine really ruined my day today, man. Hyperbole aside, yeah, I think they really ruined this. Like, if this was 1/7, she would go really well with the rest of my FGO figure collection, right? Most FGO figures, except for the male characters, I think all of the female characters, most of them are 1/7. Moving on to the next one, this is one of the top 3 highlights of the week. We have a 1/7 scale Delta ending version from the Eminence in Shadow by Kotobukiya coming out in September, which is pretty fast for only 17,000 yen after a small discount if you pre-order early. Oh boy. This is the first scale figure of Delta from what I can recall, and they just had to choose her enjoying burgers while squatting. Yeah, this is lovely, man. I think they made the great choice of going for this setup instead of, wearing their usual black color uniform. My favorite Eminence in Shadow figure is still the one by Kadokawa, Beta, that Beta 1/7 scale, which went on pre-order several months ago. This is possibly a close second, and I'm happy to see that they went for something else, rather than their usual black uniform. This is lovely, and I would say go for it. This is a really good buy. Quite cheap, 17k. This Delta figure is not the only great value purchase this week. Moving up to the next one, we have another value buy. Marin Kitagawa from Max Factory at 1/7, only over 15,000 yen. Man, that is a really good buy. This is one of 3 different Marin Kitagawa figures going on pre-order this week. And this one is coming out in December. I think it is year 2025 by then, right? And also during Wonder Festival, I said that I did not like the face, but at the same time, the image resolution I got for Wonfest was pretty low. Yeah, it was not very clear. Now that we're getting better images over here, let's open this image in a new tab and we take a look. Okay, this is actually fine, right? She actually looks way better than I was expecting. This is not bad. And this figure over here is going to give the third parties a run for their money. Third parties made 1/6 scale figures of Marin for like $200 and up. Now, for slightly smaller scale 1/7, which I'm fine with, you're paying only 15,000 yen. If you were to ask me which one I prefer, this one or Aniplex version, it is quite hard to say. I think I'm even leaning towards the Max Factory version a bit more when it comes to the face sculpt, because I did not like the Aniplex version that much, right? I nearly bought that one, but after seeing the final product pictures, I'm not really feeling it. Yeah. Not to mention, the pose on this one it is quite photogenic as well. Yeah. The second Marin Kitagawa figure over here, it is the lace version, or I call it the Succubus cosplay version by Proof. This is 22,000 yen at 1/7 scale. I would say the price is okay. I wished it is slightly cheaper, but 22k is not too bad, right? Figures made by Proof, they are not cheap to begin with. I mean, look at their Boku no Hero Academia figures, they go for 27,000 yen each, right? This one looks not bad. The face is quite nice as well, but I still prefer the one I saw by Spiritiel. Yeah. My opinion remains the same. I'm waiting for the Spiritiel version, which unfortunately did not get any updates from the recent Wonder Festival. This one, I'm skipping this one. This reminds me of Alter's Yuki Mikan figure. Very similar pose, right? Moving on to the next one, this is arguably the biggest highlight, the main highlight. This week, we have a 1/7 scale Perseus from Wings Incorporated. This is what I call the heavy arms version. Like, I don't even know what version it is called over here. This is almost 31,000 yen coming out in March, but there is a ever so slightly cheaper version. They call it light clothing version for almost 29,000 yen. So this is like 2,500 yen cheaper. Why bother? Why? If you make 2 different versions of the same figure and the price difference is like 5,000 yen and up, 6k, 7k, then I can understand the need for two different versions to appeal to a wider customer base, but these two, the difference is like less than 10% in between. So I don't see the point of this light version existing at all. The only difference is that object behind her, whatever that is, because I'm not very familiar with Azur Lane stuff, other than knowing for sure that I love their character designs. Okay, so this gold color wrecking ball or whatever that is behind her, yeah. Additional 2,500 yen for this, like, just include it in every units, man. Some people are going to say things like, oh, you're so rich that 2,500 yen is nothing to you when you can buy another press figure with that money. Yeah, that is true in a way, but when you're spending 30k on a figure, I don't think such a small difference really matters anymore. Just my personal take on this, right? Okay, moving up to the next one from the Idol Master Cinderella Girls with Akari Sujino by PM Office A or Plum. 19,000 yen after a discount. 2,000 yen discount, not bad at all. May release. Wow! We are now in the middle of February and this one is coming out 3 months later. Plum, I hope that you guys don't mess up the quality control because that is really fast for figure release. I hope you guys are not rushing things out, man. Yeah, I'm not impressed with the figure, but that is besides the point. To me, this is just a really mid figure, really meh figure, but Idol Master fans will want it. Regardless, as long they can get the QC done right, yeah, not an issue. Moving up to the next one, Frieren by Kotobukiya, only 17,000 yen. Of course, this is a no-brainer. Go and buy it if you loved Frieren. Good Smile also announced one, which in my One Fest video, I said that the post was on the boring side of things. This Kotobukiya version is looking, yeah, a bit more interesting. The only worry I have for this figure is Kotobukiya might permanently glue the figure to the base. Yeah, I am really afraid that is what they are doing over here. You can't be sure by just looking at these pictures over here because this base that Frieren is getting, it reminded me of a very similar base of Lumin from Genshin Impact by Koto. They glued the figure to the base as well. Same thing applies to Barbara. So yeah, I'm not feeling good about this figure. I have never liked figures being glued to their bases, right? But Kotobukiya does it to more than half of the figures they make. This one, compared to the Good Smile version, which was still unpainted when reviewed in One Fest, I think this one has a slightly nicer pose, right? But overall, I think I'm feeling neutral about it. I like both versions in their own way, like they're different for a good reason, right? Yeah. The face sculpt, oh, this is fantastic. Yeah, go for it. Only 17k. Moving up to the next one. Okay, this is Prime 1 Studio Harry Potter. Like, why am I talking about Harry Potter over here? 29,000 yen only, which is really cheap for 1x6 scale resin figure by Prime 1 Studio. This is not even anime stuff, not even Japanese stuff, but I'm covering it just because, right? After all, this is by Prime 1 Studio, they make anime figures, so why not just give him a little bit of attention? Not to mention, this week we don't have many figures to begin with, so might as well get the point. 31 centimeters, very nice. My sister is a hardcore fan of Harry Potter. She collected the whole set of novels, right? But that is the only thing she collected, the novels, right? Oh, very realistic looking. I was looking for the face. This is really nice. Moving up to the next one. Okay, from this point onwards, they are all affordable figures on HLJ. The first one is the main highlight, to me at least. Rise Up series by Weebos, right? Their affordable line of figures, think of it as their own version of Pop-Up Parade. They are slightly more expensive, like this one is 6,300 yen instead of 4,000 plus yen, but it is worth it, trust me. Weebos Rise Up figures are really good, like they are way better than Pop-Up Parades in terms of the painting and sculpting, everything. I owned their Amiya figure from Arc Knights. That one is getting a re-release, I mean. And that one was way better than any Pop-Up Parade I owned up to this point, right? So this is PA15. Yeah, they just have to go for PA15. Fats Company made like 3 PA15 figures already. Okay, this is Dance in the Ice C version. I like this ballet pose so much that I am feeling a bit sad that they did not do this figure in a proper 1/7 scale. Yeah, maybe 18,000 yen, 20,000 yen. But this figure and the pose, everything about this figure is nice enough that it feels like it is being limited by a smaller scale, and also the pricing over here. I wish that this is done in a higher quality version. Yeah. I don't collect girls' frontline stuff, I don't plan to, but when it is this cheap, yeah, I might as well grab one after release. I'm not pre-ordering it right now. This is quite special just because there are not many, if any, other figures out there with this ballet dance pose. Moving on to the next one, we have pop-up red L size, right? We're getting a lot of pop-up red Ls in this one fest. This is Kagamine Rin and also Len. Yeah, both are going on pre-order for 7,500 yen each approximately, coming out in August. The unfortunate part is that people like me, I collect mostly female characters, but if I don't get both, assuming I were to pre-order or purchase it, it feels incomplete, right? Yeah, I think for only 7,500 yen each, you're getting something similar to 1/7 scale. I think you need both just for the sake of feeling complete. Pop-up red L is actually my favorite pop-up red line, right? The normal version is a bit too small, and because it is small, sometimes we get QC issues on smaller parts. And then the XL is not good value for money at 25,000 yen because, yeah, there are 1/4 scales that are way cheaper, like the Chinese stuff. So to me, pop-up red L is the best compromise, like the best balance between quality and size, right? Moving on to the next one, we have pop-up red Anya Forger on an outing version, just under 4,000 yen. Yeah, wait until after release. I don't see a point of pre-ordering something like this. Oh, a metal rod into her at the back. Okay. The thing with Anya is that, yeah, so many price figures out there. And even if you don't like this one, it is not an issue. So many options, you are spoiled for choice, man. Moving on to the next one, we have Mitsumi Iwakura and Sosuke Shima from Skip and Loafer. 8,500 yen for both, or you can get them separately for just under 4,000 yen. Wait, what? You see, if you get both 8,500 yen, that makes it 4,250 yen approx each. But if you were to get it separately, 4,000 and 4,000, you're actually saving 500 yen over here. Like, what is HLJ doing, man? Are we getting... Oh, I see. I think I know why this set is more expensive than buying them individually. For that extra 500 yen you are paying, it is very likely you're getting an extra base. If you bought the figures separately, yeah, you get one base each. But if you buy the set over here, where they are packaged into one single box, it is very likely you're getting one extra base, a big one where you can plug both figures into one base. I think that makes a lot of sense. When it comes to shopping in general, the more you buy, the more discounts you get. This is the exact opposite, where buying both, you have to pay more, which is leading me to speculate over here that, yeah, there is an extra base, but based on the product pictures I'm getting over here, there are no signs of an extra base at all. So I have no idea what is going on, and HLJ is not mentioning what is the content of the package as well. I think Ami will mention it, right? Moving on to the next one, pop-up red Kei Karuizawa from Classroom of the Elite, just under 4,000 yen. Yeah, wait until after release. I don't see a point of pre-ordering something like this. Do I like her in the anime? Kind of. She is a very great tool indeed. I kind of like her. Alright, moving up to the next one. Okay, we have Zatch Bell. Zatch Bell Polystone figure Kanchome. 4,500 yen by Kent Elephant. Okay, Kent Elephant, if not mistaken, they do all these miniature figures. I've seen this brand name before. And of course, there is the second figure over here, Gush Bell, right? For the same price, also Polystone. I have no idea why they are using Polystone for something this small. Usually, they use Polystone for huge and heavy figures to prevent sagging or leaning. So it is an interesting choice to do Polystone on such a small figure. The next one here, we have Chibi Figures Bilibili 2024 Anniversary. Is this their mascot character? I think it is, right? For 7,000 yen, coming out in December. Normally, I don't cover chibi figures. I don't know why I decided to cover it today. Maybe because there is nothing to cover, you know. I tend to include chibi figures under Nendoroid category, even though they are not exactly the same thing. Technically, chibi figures are also scale figures, just that they are in chibi form. Yeah, I don't collect stuff like this. Moving up to the next one, this is just a quick mention. They went on pre-order on Ami last week. 1x6 scale, Barney Ghost, black and white. Yeah, they are only 6,600 yen each on Ami back then. Same price over here, and now they are finally available for pre-order on HLJ by a new Chinese figure brand called Fancam, right? Or Fancam. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly. To me, it doesn't really make much sense to get both. They're exactly the same figure, just different color scheme, but I guess that is all up to you. And that is all for figures on pre-order on HLJ this week. Yes, very few figures this week. Moving on to Ami, there are 2 figures. These 2 are not exclusives, just that at the time of recording, they are not yet listed on HLJ. The first one, this is a re-release. I predicted this would happen. Hololive Amane Kanata 1x7 scale by Claynel, 27,500 yen. This thing sold out right after release. She was just released in January, last month. And right after release, within a week or so, you go to Amazon Japan and take a look. She is already going for 42,000 yen, 40 plus minimum, right? Because the Japanese, they are crazy about Hololive. There are 2 main types of figure companies you see. The first type is the type that indirectly punishes you. If you don't pre-order early, oh, when we told you to pre-order a year ago, you did not. Now that it is sold out, good luck in the aftermarket. We don't care. That is type number 1. Type number 2, the moment it becomes sold out, they quickly re-release it because this is the most common sense thing to do, right? Like, rather than letting resellers and scalpers profit from the products, you keep the profit for yourself by re-releasing it and selling more units of the same thing. I think this makes the most sense. But of course, if you do this, your product does not have value in the aftermarket. So it appears Claynel is the latter type. They are the type who re-releases things. Yeah, good for us consumers actually. I really hate those rods behind her. I would rather them plug the wings into her, even though she is not an angel, like, you know, she does not have wings. Those are probably imaginary wings, but I would rather them plug it into the figure rather than having those rods behind the figure. That is just me, by the way. And the second figure on Ami, Manta illustration by Frieren, 1x7 scale. Okay, Chinese brand, of course, by OMH, which I suspect is Omaha. 20,000 yen, coming out in January next year. This feels expensive for a Chinese figure, right? I mean, plain summer dress. Oh, the rear view of this figure is very nice, man. It is expensive, and I suspect that this figure is probably 4,000 or 5,000 yen cheaper in Taobao. I need to check. Japanese prices of Chinese figures tend to be more expensive. Now, I am really interested in this figure because the rear view is very photogenic. Like, imagine this figure over here, looking at her from behind, this exact angle. You bring her outside and then you photograph her when the sun is setting with a bit of a silhouette, like the main figure is a bit on the dark side. How amazing it looks, right? Yeah, it looks very natural. And for that reason alone, I am mildly interested in photographing this figure at least. But man, she has a huge forehead, right? Like the hair is covering, the forehead is huge on top. Okay. Yeah, I like her. Too bad I don't think this figure is customable. Alright, moving on to the next one. This is an Aniplex Plus exclusive, Marin Kitagawa, the third Marin figure this week. Okay, and this is a low-cost figure at only 4,500 yen. But in case Aniplex Plus does not ship to your country, you can get it on Good Smile online shop. Yeah, this is on Good Smile online shop, but you're paying a little bit more, right? Oh, no. Same price, 4,800 yen. That is great. I thought this would be a small figure, like 1x10 or 1x12 scale, but apparently the height of this figure is 15.5 centimeters while sitting. That is pretty much close to 1x8, 1x7. This is a big figure. For 5,000 yen, 4,800 yen, grab one. This is a must-have. Yes, the face on this Marin Kitagawa figure is a bit different. I believe this is based on the manga art, right? But it is very pretty. Like, it is very attractive. So I have no problems with it. Get one. Right? I think everyone needs to buy this figure. Alright. Moving on to the next Aniplex exclusive, we have Chisato Nishikigi from Licorice Recoil. Yeah, the Hawaii version we saw in One Fest. She is open for pre-order 17,000 yen only for a 1x7 skill by Aniplex. Man, that is a great price for the entire package. Like, yeah, Hawaii dress. This is a rather complex looking figure. I mean, the dress is not easy to manufacture and paint. 17k with that unique base over there. I suppose the license must be really cheap because if this was a FGO figure, this would be at least 25,000 yen, right? We have one this week. Coming soon. And the next one, of course, Takina Hawaii version. Same thing again, 17k. Two figures from Licorice Recoil for 34k, man. Whew. I love it when figures are no longer as expensive as before. However, this doesn't apply to us FGO collectors, unfortunately, which brings us to the third figure this week on Aniplex Plus. Okay, this is Moon Cancer. Moon Cancer class servant. I still call her, what's the name again? I still call her Tsukihime, even though this is FGO version Moon Cancer. And eye-watering 37,000 yen. No, I am not pre-ordering this thing at 37k, even though I am a collector of FGO stuff. This is obviously FGO tax. I'm gonna wait until after release. I'm gonna wait for the price to drop. It will happen. And a massive cheapskate like me, yeah, I am not paying 37k for this thing. There is no way this thing is worth 37,000 yen, man. I mean, wait for 2-3 months after release, yeah, we'll see the price bin. It is going to happen. In case you insist on pre-ordering one and Aniplex Plus does not ship to your country, you're not using a proxy service to get stuff from Japanese website, then you can get her from Ninin Game for an even worse 40,800 yen. Yeah, this is the case with getting exclusive stuff on Ninin Game. You're going to pay a few thousand yen in premium, right? And also, as usual, every week we have these really smoking hot figures by Insight and Beeful. Plenty of them, new ones this week on Ninin Game, which I couldn't put on screen. So go and check it out yourself, right? And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. No new third-party figures because over in China, everyone are still on Lunar New Year holidays. However, there's this one figure over here, this Chainsaw Man Anya by ZH Studio, which I covered last week. I mentioned it in the comments section of my video saying that this is stolen art, right? Do not pre-order it, do not buy it. So, OzGK, if you go to their website, this figure is marked as being sold out. You can't place a pre-order, you see. This add to cart button is being grayed out, you can't pre-order it. And up here on the title, it is mentioned that waiting for ZH Studio to reach an agreement with the original artist. They did not take down a listing, but they don't allow you to pre-order it. That is the least they could have done over here, and this is a very nice response from them. Like, I'm certain some of you may have messaged OzGK directly, and yeah, they have responded properly to this issue over here. So that is really nice to see. And that is all for figure news for this week. Which one will you pre-order? Let me know down in the comments below, because we have quite a number of great figures, even though there are very few of them this week, right? Yeah, until then, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again really soon. Goodbye.